Okay. Oh, hey.
Hi. Hi, everybody. Good to be here with you all. What
Hello,
is
hello.
happening, crew? We
What?
we already got the giggles, so this is good. That's a real strong start.
There's no mushrooms involved. Just got the giggles. I
No,
don't know
no,
what
here,
you're
let me
talking
get my
about.
clear eyes out here.
Yeah. Okay.
How's everybody doing?
Yeah.
Man, we're happy to see you all here. We got everybody. We already got it.
Oh, nice.
Look at y'all.
We got Brittany.
Hey, Brittany.
We got
Christian, I
XP
have
Golden
loved
Age.
our chats on Patreon. Christian, he just got back from Thailand, seeing his
Very
girlfriend,
cool.
and so happy for them. Much love to both of you guys. Our dear Sean, we're gonna punch through this wall together, brother.
Yeah. Rock. We got
Uh-huh.
Robert Driscoll in the house. We got XRP Golden Age. What is that? Crag Mile?
Peaky.
Brent. Crag Mile.
Brent.
Crag Mile? I don't know how to pronounce that exactly. Brent probably know better than I do.
Craig Mile.
Craig Mile,
Craig
I
Mile.
guess.
I like it.
Quagmire?
I like that. I like that last name a lot. That's a good one.
Yeah. We got PGA in the house.
Uh-huh.
Brian. Cool. Yeah. Yep. Abe 333. One of my favorite numbers. Very cool. Christian. We got the slave in the house. Cody's here, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Code Man.
Cody, what's up, bro?
Yep. We got, all right. Good to see you all. Lance Quest. Nice. Yeah, I caught the live. Willie. My cat's name, bro. Willie.
Willis.
Yep. Yeah, Robert Driscoll saw the
Nice.
Sequoia video I did. You guys, the only thing I have to say is you have no idea how big those trees are behind me. You just can't. The video didn't show it at all. And it was pretty cool. The one where the thumbnail is, where it's Bruno and I in the front. Did you see that one, Brent?
No.
The last one, I just launched it yesterday.
I
It's just a
didn't see
little,
it.
yeah, a little 5-minute thing. And anyway, we
Nice.
didn't have the mystery discussion after that video. It ended abruptly. But we got that coming. We have more of those coming this week. Let's see. On the bucket, Northern Living, what's on the bucket list? Oh, Sequoia. Maybe. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be, man. We've
Yep.
Dad and I have driven through the whole park there, or most of it, and
Yeah, a bunch
including
of it.
some off the beaten path river stuff, some waterfall hikes, all that. And it feels like little Yosemite to me. It just all of this here is due. It just feels like one big extension of itself, but it feels like just this like slightly smaller version of everything, but still the same unique texture and layout. And then you have those trees, which is just it's a mind blower. It's so amazing to just be next to them.
Yeah. Yeah, Lisa A, perfect timing. We have Mark from North Carolina. Great Sunday it is. We got a bunch of good people in here every time. We have our set, I don't know, 40 or 50, but then it seems like there's always a new 40 or 50 every weekend. Really cool. Okay. Oh, and the questions are already coming in about Uphold. Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
Yep.
I dug in hard.
Yeah, XRP Slave. Yeah, I used to live there. I've driven through that tree. I used to live on Vancouver Island. They have old growth cedar there that is big, really big. But dude, sequoias are massive, man. It's a whole nother level of big. It's crazy. Um, but anyway, yeah, once you get that big, you're talking really big. They're all big. I wanted to ask you a question. Well, I wanted to talk about, well, somebody asked me a very important question this week, and I thought I'd lead off with it. And he said, well, how come all Bitcoin leveled off and everything's leveling off and all the meme coins are just going crazy right now? And I thought, yeah, that's not a good sign, guys. But it's not a downtrend in any stretch of the imagination. I think it's a leveling off. And you need that leveling off right now because it's been, what do we have? 8 straight candles up in the crypto market. And that had never been done before, in particular with Bitcoin. That is insanity. Okay. You cannot sustain that sort of upward momentum forever. The other thing that was amazing to me was how low the volume was. There wasn't a ton of volume for how much price action we had. That to me is frightening in a good way, because when volume comes into the market and we have that sort of price action without volume, wow. Because let's think about the year, right? Bitcoin was up 160% in a year on what I'm going to call low volume. Okay. So it got to, what would we get to? 1.4 trillion. Well, the last bull market, we were over 3 trillion. And that's what I mean by volume. There's not half of the people or money in it that was in it just 3 years ago. So we're already at mid 40s when the high is at 68, right? What was it? 69. Nice. And it ended up being, that was the top of the market, right? But 45,000, we're already there, 44,000, and we're already there without all that volume. So is it going to be a trampoline effect? I do believe it will. And if you combine that with, I really believe that it's going to be, this is one of my favorite things I heard anybody say all week long. Gosh, what's his name? I should shout him out. So good. His mind is so brilliant. Because I don't listen to a lot of people, but that guy I do for sure every week. Anyway, he said he's calling for January 8th, which is the king's birthday. That's right. Elvis was born on January 8th. So he thinks Bitcoin's ETF is going to be announced on the 8th of January. Myself, I think it's going to happen tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yeah, I do. And I've been wrong a lot. I'm more wrong than I'm right. But I got this feeling, and then I got this phone call, and I tried to talk to the guy about it, and he said, well, I don't know why they would wait till January. That doesn't make any sense. It make more sense to get it done at the end of this year for tax purposes in a corporate level and an ETF, because it's going to take them 2 to 3 months before all the volume, before they can even get everything ready to get it to their clients. Why would you wait? I think they're going to announce it now, get the whole mess of that reaction out of the way so that they can start fresh the first week of January after all the hype has happened over the Christmas season. When he said that in that manner, I said, bingo, that makes sense. So who knows? Yeah.
Are they ready? Do you think they're ready?
There's Becky in the house. Yeah. Wow, Alan. Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's guess, right?
Yeah.
Seems to be what YouTube and Twitter is for, is guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Opinions.
Yeah. Yeah. Brent, you had something you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, we've only got Becky for 20 minutes, so we're gonna talk about Vault. Um,
Oh, cool.
so Uphold's vault, basically assisted self custody. By assisted, they you essentially have two keys, and then they have a key. Um, their key basically allows the ability to create additional keys should you lose yours. We can get into the philosophy of that after this.
I think
Um,
it's good.
yeah, it's very interesting. You can do 30-day free trial. It's $49.99 a year is the deal, or you can do $4.99 a month. I'm terrible at math, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, $49.99 is cheaper. Um, so so you have multi-sig encryption. They claim hassle-free transfers to and from, key replacement. And if you cannot access Uphold directly, you can still access your XRP. Um, what I what I find interesting, and my dad reminded me of this, because I love the science stuff and jump right in and do it and figure it out and see how it goes. And I was just going to put some into this and pay for this service and kind of check it all out for us. But my dad reminded me of the very important point that, you know, for that for that $50, you could be having 100 XRP ish today, and that coming before what we've essentially been talking about on this channel for years now, for what's coming for this, for Ripple Labs and for XRP and how it's going to change markets and business and banking and the internet itself, all those things. It to me it was kind of like, okay, well, what's the smart investment here? And I
Yeah.
started talking about, well, it's like we can't do staking in it, and that's where my dad reminded me. It was, hey, you know, it's cool to get 5-10% on your money annually, but wouldn't it be cooler if you got 100 of these things now and you're sitting on that and you have access to that and that's available to you however and whenever you want to buy, sell, trade, move, give away, all those things. And so that's kind of my take. I want to hear from you on that, Dad. But I also got into all the private wallets that we can all use for XRP. Um,
Yeah. There's a
and
ton of them out there.
there's a bunch. I know there's more than this, but let me just go through the list kind of slowly, quickly. For hardware wallets, we can use the Ledger Nano X. I'm hearing iffy stuff about Ledger at the moment.
Yeah.
But they're always on the list. Trezor Model T and
Yep.
Keep Key. Keep Key was a new one to me.
Yeah.
Um, there's another wallet called Edge, which is software based. There's the Exodus wallet, which is desktop and mobile app. There's GateHub, which is mobile and web.
Get. Mm-hmm.
GateHub, what do you think about GateHub, Dad?
Yeah. I mean, it's a whole platform, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it just makes sense to kind of do it that way. I have a whole. Keep going. Do you have the list?
A
Are
couple
you done?
more. Couple
Okay.
more. Atomic Wallet, which is desktop and mobile. Garda, which is web, mobile, and desktop. And Coin Payments, which is a mobile and web app. Those guys, it was interesting. They claim to be able to store over 1,900 different altcoins and or ERC20 tokens. So that was interesting.
Yeah.
And I listed all those other things because we all like to use different devices. That's something to look at in your research.
Yeah.
It's like, do I have this on my phone? Do I have this on my computer? Do I just not trust those things at all? And I want to use a hardware wallet. Do you want to do what Dad was talking about last week? Writing your private key down, putting it in a book, or 2 copies. So if your house gets burned down, it's in your car, something like that. So lots of ways to do it, and lots of ways to store XRP, which is very exciting. I've only gotten into 2 of these things, but I'm looking forward to getting into more and learning more about how to do it on each platform. I think that would be the avenue that Dad and I should look into for all of us.
Okay, so in my humble opinion, okay, with all the ledger problems recently, and with going to a seminar that a guy put on a while back, and he started talking about, in particular, AI and the way technology is coming to us, they're going to be able to record your keystrokes. They already can. Okay, so that's kind of an issue with some of those things. So I'm a huge fan of air gap, and a lot of different reasons why is because you're not stroking keys, you're not punching it in, they're not physically connected. This is what I talk about when I get into the difference between staking and proof of work. Okay, they are completely different because proof of work, you're not physically attached to the internet system. I know that sounds weird and it would be really complicated. I know we did a show about it, talked about it for quite a while, but you want what's called an air gap, or you want a distance between you and the cord. The most secure building you can have is one that has no possibility of the internet going out of it. None. No internet in or no internet out. That's how you make a secure building. Problem of it is it becomes a dark space. It can't be connected to the rest of the world. But all the breaches and all the hacks come through our cable or Wi-Fi. So looking into that, there's a bunch of them out there. There was one called, that was a Bitcoin only wallet. But still, I mean, there was a bunch of them out there that are look into air gaps, and you can check those out. Okay, but one of the best things, in my opinion, okay, is what Brent was talking about was custody, okay? Multi-sig. It's so important to have you and your life partner to each have your own half of the code, and then maybe a third party if you're going to go that way. Okay, that's cool too, because that way, if you lose your damn seed phrase or whatever, there's somebody who can help you find it. You have a third party interest in the sense that they can't take your coins because you have the other half of the equation. But if you were to be able to get into their files or they're into your files, you could retrieve a mistake that you may have made in the past. So there's no way I could talk about all this. This is, by the way, my least favorite subject of crypto. I am not, this is not my forte at all. I am not a technical guy in that sense. And I get reminded that often. And so I would not take advice from me on which wallet to use. But I will say this: if you're looking for an online wallet, Exodus, in my opinion, is the best. It's just the founder of that company, he's brilliant. And Dan knows what he's doing. The other thing is, one of the things I talk about all the time is diversification. Spread your coins out, because when you have a really bad day and they're all on your wallet, on that one wallet that crashes or the system goes down or whatever the situation might be, that's a really bad day. But if it only had a third of your coins on it, it's not as bad a day. You can recover from the other.
Becky,
okay.
I I read about 3 different sites on it. I just in my notes, and I'm forgetting if they did mention insurance. That is an incredible question. Um, I will look into that again and make sure and answer that next week.
Yeah.
If anybody is interested in using this service, or serious about it, or if you already have, please leave us a comment. Let us all know. Because yeah, we're digging in here.
Yep. Sean and I, as many of you know in here, we both deal with a company called Caleb and Brown. And I've known about Caleb and Brown for 5 years, and I've never heard a complaint. Maybe more than 5 years now. So I know a bunch of people that use them. They are multi-sig, and they are outside of the US. That could be good and bad. But the problem with them is they are bank. They're not a bank, but they are held accountable to the banking system, if you will. So, you have to give them all your ID, you have to give them all that stuff. And so anyway, let's see.
I don't leave my private keys in my car. I know
Yeah.
that's yeah.
So
I have conceived of a way to do it that way, though, to where if somebody had looked at the phrase code, that they would not be able to go to that source or understand how to work that. And that's kind of one of those things. It's like, how can you make your own system to where if the worst should happen, you're covered. The booty's covered up.
Brent, do you know who Shay Mead is?
Shay Mead.
Shay Mead says, I swear I was sitting next to B-Man at a restaurant last Wednesday.
Probably. Are you Shay? Are you in Slowtown? What restaurant?
What restaurant?
And why didn't you come say hi?
And McDonald's doesn't count as a restaurant, by the way. Okay. Oh, I wanted to bring something else up. I'm in the process. I'm trying to make this short, but I think it's really important to everybody out there. There's a good friend of the family who is a man by the name of Wayne. Okay. And Wayne set me on this long journey over a year ago of sovereign, okay, digital sovereignty, okay, or your personal. Now, I kind of knew about it before that, but I didn't know how detailed some of these companies had gotten and how into it they really were and how they had really worked on stuff. Because 3-4 years ago, I was into a company that was called Silverback, and they were brilliant because you could hook this little hardware piece between your back of your laptop to the internet, and it would scramble anything going in or out. So they couldn't trace you or track you or any of that. There's a company that I've been researching quite a bit, and it's really going to help with what we're talking about here with wallets. And it's called Start9. I'm going to talk to you guys about this going forward more and more and more in my videos, because I've done quite a bit of research, and so is Wayne. And I think it's the company of the 3 or 4 top ones that I really like the most. I love the co-founder. I listen to endless speeches he's done and some of the stuff he's doing. In a nutshell, what Start9 does is they call it an embassy. In other words, it's essentially a router, but it's a hardware router that sits in your living room, and you plug your devices into it or route through it with your phone. What he means by embassy is it's a foreign place in somebody else's country. The country being all the usual suspects, right? Microsoft, Google, Apple, all these people that are taking your data and profiting from it. or marketing you through it. And what this basically says is nothing goes in there and nothing goes out of there. It all goes out cleanly enough. And essentially what he's done is everything is cloud-based now, right? So what he said is all those guys are doing is creating operating systems to get to the cloud and back. So it's going from you, okay, to the cloud, Apple, Google, whoever, right, to Brent when I text him.
Mm-hmm.
Why do we need Google reading, recording, listening in on what Brent and I are talking about? And then the next thing you know, you turn your phone on and Brent and I were talking about backpacks and going backpacking, and there's a backpack post on your phone. Okay. All of this is what they're doing, and they're marketing us. So if you would like that to stop, there is a company called Start9 that I'm looking into. You really need to check them out because I think they're brilliant. It's a little pricey. They start at like $300 and they go to like $1,200, depending on what your needs are. I don't get paid a dime for this. That's not why I'm bringing it up. I'm bringing it up because once you create that location at your house, you're free from spying eyes. But the most brilliant part for me that I'm looking into is them hacking me. So in other words, how can I set up my own laptop? You go buy a laptop,
Mm-hmm.
and you never use it for anything other than your crypto trading. And it's never connected to Google. It's never connected to anybody. It's only you, your house, your router. And you only use it for that. That's where I'm trying to go with this whole thing. We have a friend of ours, Brent and I have a friend of ours who sells laptops that does exactly that. But I'm thinking this would be more handy because you can secure every apparatus that you have in your house, not just that one laptop.
Mm-hmm.
A bit of a ramble, but that's where my head's at right now. And I'm trying to get everybody to understand that your sovereignty, your computing sovereignty is your own. They don't own you. It's just because you pay the fee to connect to the cloud doesn't mean they get to spy on you, you know. Anyway.
It's why the dark web gets a bad name, you know,
That's right.
because Google doesn't own it, you know.
Yep.
So it's just it must be full of a bunch of people who are just, you know, thieves and, you know, liars and, you know.
Yeah. Right.
But
Yeah. They don't.
we would like to be in a place like that, Dad, I think, because we understand who the thieves are,
Yeah.
and we don't have a say in it based on a lot of the ways that we use our devices and our our life. It's like,
Bye, Becky.
bye, Becky. Yeah, I just that to me, Dad, what you just said is why we're using blockchain. It's the same.
That's right.
It is the attempt to safely remove the third party. I say safely because, you know, you like you said, you still don't want to get hacked. You know, there still is some trust from the other end on the company side. But man, so excited to look into it. So you said it's called Start9?
Start9. They're out of Colorado,
Mm-hmm.
and they work with a bunch of different people. So you can check them out. It's really cool. They've been in business 4 or 5 years now, so it's not like they're brand new or anything. But
Sweet.
remember, I'm not promoting their product. I'm just saying that I know people using it for over a year now, and they swear by it. So, and Wayne is how do we put this? A conspiracy theorist, you know, like the rest of us. But yeah, he's very into his his own sovereignty. Put it that way. Whether it be through financial or whether it be personal or whatever. It's your information. It doesn't belong to them. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny, back in the 50s and 60s when phones started becoming, a big thing was, well, Ma Bell's listening in on me. Well, we wrote laws back then so that they couldn't. What happened to those? They sort of
Gone.
threw those away, didn't they? Yeah.
Dad,
Yeah.
okay, to speak on that, yeah, to speak on that, um, it almost feels like to continue to go along with that and allow them to do that, you know, them profiting off of our data and our information and our
Yeah.
thoughts and who we are, and and turn around and sell it back to us,
Yeah.
is a dangerous slippery slope. And
Yep.
I feel like I'll say it, like, I've gotten very comfortable with it in my life, and it's it's why I'm in here in this room right now doing the crypto thing with y'all, because I
Yeah.
feel like that removal of that, and humanity stepping out and saying that this is okay. It's okay for us to trade one-on-one. It's okay for us to have our own sovereignty. It's okay for this and that. And
Yeah.
you go back and look through history, and there've just been groups and parties and families and different, governments that have tried to take it from you. And
Yeah, that's
and
right.
they've put the point out that
Keep
that's
going, Brad.
okay. And it's not. It's not okay. I don't control any of you, nor would I ever try to do that. I wouldn't do it in any of my relationships. Wouldn't do it in anybody that I worked for, anybody that I managed. No, it's just not right. It's just not right. It's the lizard brain. It's full blown reptile, and I'm thankful. I'm so blessed. Like,
Oh, that's better.
Dad and I didn't just make this community. You showed up and you're here, and like, we get to share about things like that. That was Dad and I are talking about. You good, man?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Hugh and I were talking about different ideas for Patreon videos coming up, and one of the ones that I mentioned, because we want to do some spiritual stuff with you guys, but we also want to do some conspiracy stuff, some tinfoil hat, cat food in the bunker. No, not really, but just an expansion of mind, and what are those expansion of mind things? And the very first thing that I text my dad about and I mentioned was about sovereignty, and or rather self sovereignty, because
Yeah.
my dad could sit here and talk to you all for 3 hours about how we've gotten, you know screwed through history, absolutely hosed.
Yeah.
And really, it's about us now creating self-sovereignty. You know,
It
you
is.
tell those
Yeah.
war stories from the past so that you can kind of prepare yourself and know what you're up against mentally and say, okay, I want to create
Right.
self-sovereignty. I want to eliminate these third parties that want to, you know, suck up, like a body snatcher.
Yeah.
Like, you take all my money, take all my energy, change all of
Yeah.
my thoughts. Not doing it.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. I'm gonna listen to people like you, Dad, and people like who are living and breathing and loving us and in this chat. They're just as smart as I am, and work with them to where we can make something like that out of this world.
Yeah.
I know that's a little on the edge of the branch there, but I mean, I
Not
always say
really.
it.
No, I
I
don't think
always
it
say
is at
it because
all.
I feel like that's what my, your generation and my generation together, like
Yeah.
talking about it and trying to push it and trying to say it's okay
Yeah.
is so important. It is
No,
so
that's right.
important.
Yeah.
All my friends are having kids now. It's like, do I want their lives to be, you know, taken and sold back to them? Like, no, no.
No. No.
There's people like us who are trying to fix this and trying to make
I
this work.
Yeah, exactly. No, there are. And
Mm,
it's not even about, oh, those guys are wrong and they're out to ruin our lives and they're kind of trying to control us because they're reptilian. They're going to put us all in cages. It's not even that extreme. What it
no.
is they like the system the way it is. The system profits them, and they live off the fact that they've inflated these fiat dollars through generations. This has been happening for thousands of years. This isn't just now. All right. And I know I get a lot of comments in there about gold, and gold is God's money. And I do believe in gold. And there's so many things about gold I really appreciate. But that isn't going to cut it in the future, guys. That I'm going to say it again, and I say it all the time. I believe the number is over 750 times have we had a fiat currency, and every single time it failed to gold. Gold overtook a fiat currency. That's correct, right? That means that 749 times gold failed to fiat, right? Same math, guys. Same math. Gold doesn't work as an exchange of value between labor and value. Now, I'm going to tell you something that you guys are going to love. There's a really cool platform that these people are working on, and it's very simple to use. Okay. Think about this. I'm not even going to tell you which platform it's on because you guys are going to freak out. But anyway, think about this. I put my phone up to the screen. Okay. And a person in, I don't care, Africa, okay, who's a farmer, they have a QR code on their phone, and I do on my phone, and we exchange value back and forth. Bingo, just like that. Okay. We've exchanged crypto for their goat milk, whatever. Okay. Who's the middleman? Nobody. Who can stop that? Nobody. So whenever I hear people tell me, well, we're going to go to gold, or we're going to go, how would gold work in that equation? How is gold going to work for the bottom 4 billion people? It's not. Okay. It is a storage of wealth. Okay. It is a storage of wealth for sure. And it will be for eternity. I believe that to be true.
Mhm.
Here's the thing. God, I just came to me the other day, and it was just so brilliant. When you think about Bitcoin, I want you to think, if everybody in this room should know the difference between money and currency. Okay. Essentially, currency is the digits or the fiat. Money is the gold or silver. Okay.
Mm,
We're clear on that.
yes.
Money in crypto world is Bitcoin. XRP is currency. Put very simply. One is a current going from point A to point B in the transactional use case. The other one is a storage of wealth to be put in somewhere where you're not going to trade or use it every single moment of your day. So when people ask me, what is the difference between the two? That's what comes to my head now. All right.
Mhm.
Now I'm going to go even bigger picture to something that we talk about. I was just talking about with a friend of mine just the other day, but even bigger picture than that. The issue, like we talked about last Sunday too, the bigger issue with Bitcoin is you're not going to want to transact in it. And the people who are, stick with me on this, the people who are making that less and less likely are the ETFs, BlackRocks, and the Fidelities of the world, because they're going to encapsulate all of those Bitcoin as best they can in these funds, because they don't want it to be transferable. They do not want it to become currency. Again, XRP is currency, right? Bitcoin, they're going to make them so scarce that you're not going to want to trade at Starbucks with them. You're not going to want to trade with the goat herder. They're doing that intentionally. My opinion, my show, right? That's why they're piling in on ETFs. That's why they're going to create the price of it to go sky high, and they don't care, because they're looking for a place to put all that inflation, and they're going to inflate the value of Bitcoin through the roof. And if you don't understand that, or you don't see that coming, it's because of its scarcity. And how can they control the scarcity of it? They're about to own it all. And it's going to take them 5 to 10 years, but they're going to go up this thing to the point where everybody's going to get out, because the little man doesn't understand generational wealth. They just don't. Okay. That's why when I did my video a couple of days ago, I was talking about XRP as generational wealth. And now you have an opportunity to own thousands of them, not just like one Bitcoin. Like it sounds crazy, but there was Max Kaiser did a show with Alex Jones, right? 5 years ago. I don't know if you guys heard this, right? He gave him 50,000 Bitcoin.
Wow.
Just imagine that, guys. That's insane. That's billions of dollars. That was just like 5, 6 years ago. That's what I'm talking about here. They're going to make Bitcoin $1 million a coin and more, because they don't want you using it as a means of exchange, because they like their currency, their fake printable currency, as what it is. They're going to keep it that way, and that's how they're going to do it. Anyway, I was on a bit of a rant there. Sorry, guys.
That was a good one, Dad.
I
Willie,
hope that all made sense.
to your point, do the banks hate crypto? They're gonna say that they do, right up until the point where they're gonna sell you their services for it. That's
right.
Is what it
right.
is. And to
That's
your
the game
point,
plan.
Dad, you know, the
Yeah.
the plan, if any of us had to guess, is probably they're setting it all up, get it all ready, and it could even be tomorrow, Dad. Could be tomorrow. We hear about the ETF bond. Boom. In.
Don't be surprised if that doesn't happen this Monday.
Wild.
That's small. I don't know.
Wild.
I don't know.
That's a
Don't be
big
surprised.
domino, everybody.
But I said that, I don't know, a month ago.
Wild.
So, don't hold your breath. Yeah.
Yeah, we've been wrong before, Dad.
I'm looking, those who have been with me for a year or two, I guess now, a couple of years, I'm going to do a video here coming up real soon. It's my year-end video that I do every year. What I got wrong. And I'm guessing it's going to be a long show. So, yeah, that's going to be fun. I don't know anybody else in crypto. I don't know anybody else in YouTube that does a show about everything they got wrong during the year. Like everybody's just like, they just forget about it. Oh, I never made that prediction. They just go on to the next. January 1st comes along and they make a whole new prediction video. And it's like, well, dude, what happened to your last predictions? Why didn't you like set the damn table straight here? Anyway.
The ones I like, Dad, are it seems like they're always just trying to constantly learn. That's what I like about you and I is our conversations are always, we're trying to expand.
Right.
And look at it from the other side and not get stuck in the bunker with the cat food, and romantic to one idea or one coin. And that is like, that's precious in our space.
So good.
And it seems like kind of a waste of energy to really knock one when it feels like they're all just so connected, and what happens in the news of one almost feels like it affects the whole narrative for the whole thing, which is kind of true with everything. But
yeah,
this is kind of one of those times where it's like, man, you want the good news coming in. You want the bull to keep building. And it feels like it is. Even with the nays here and there,
yeah,
this is
yeah.
starting to feel different. You mentioned that earlier, Dad. This really is starting to feel different. All the news, all the energy, all the comments that we're getting from the last couple of videos Dad put
It
out.
does feel different. It really
Really
does.
incredible stuff, everybody. And a lot
I
of what you said today, Dad, is what I'm writing to our Patreon folks.
yeah, cool.
It's
There's
just so fun to look at it all.
there's a great what is that? Is that Messi Leo? Messi?
Messy.
Anyway, whoever they are, when do you think XRP will decouple from Bitcoin? By the way, brilliant question. That's, I'm going to say never, but it could happen. And here's how it could happen. There's two ways it could happen. Number one, if the adoption of XRP that I believe is coming to us all, when that occurs, when somebody comes along and says, yeah, well, you remember Swift? This is 10 times better than that, 10 times faster. All money is going to move on these tracks. And that's going to happen now. That puts XRP into a utility category, almost like electricity, almost like railroad tracks, almost like a jet airliner. This thing is going to be on its own at that point. But we need not every nation, but the majority of all the nations to be transacting in it. And the exchange rate, has to be, we talked about this. If it's leaving my house and it's $1 and it's going to the UK and it's going to become a British pound on the other end, it's XRP in between. When that happens, the majority of the transactions in the world are in that world. It will completely decouple from Bitcoin in the sense that one will be a utility and one will be a storage of wealth. And I've got to say, I'm not going to throw them under the bus, but I saw a really, really, really good interview with two of our favorite XRP interview people. And I'm not even going to talk about who they were, but
nice.
I heard them repeat this again, and I really want people who don't understand Bitcoin to understand this real clear. They said this. So when the power goes out and the cabal are going to shut the lights off, which about the movie everybody was talking about, and they're going to do it, and they're going to shut us down, and it'll be the end of Bitcoin. If I hear one more person say that who claims to understand Bitcoin, I don't know what you're looking at. You just don't understand the basic principles of Bitcoin if you think that's the case. Okay. You just don't. Right. And the simplicity of that is this. I'm 90% off grid. If I'm running a node through my house, remember guys, you only need one chain. You need one laptop that has the blockchain running on it to exist, to re-energize or ignite the entire system all over again when the power comes back on. You don't think there's like storage units or bunkers where the people are running these things that's not affected by the utilities of their neighborhood? You know how many alternative energy sources are actually mining Bitcoin today? you need to look into that number because it doesn't have anything to do with some EMP or any of these things that are going to crash down and shut the electricity off. Has absolutely nothing to do with whether or not Bitcoin will survive. I heard him say it, and I was like, I almost threw my hat on the ground, just like, what, you've been in this space too long to say something that stupid. Okay. I'm just sorry. And I'm not going to throw him under the bus, but for God's sakes, man, let your hatred of a coin that you don't believe in outside the door when you come in and you're teaching people about crypto. I really don't like doggy coin, but I'm not going to bag on it. I don't see any use case for it. Does that mean that people shouldn't invest in it and people don't love it and it might just be the best coin in the history of man? I don't know that. But anyway, that's my rant about that. Man, I was furious when I heard it. I was just like, dude, you're too smart to sound that stupid. I was just like, wow, man. Okay. All right. Anyway.
That's a rough one.
Oh, one other thing I wanted to address. I'm guessing that everybody heard about our buddy David Schwartz having a terrible week, by the way. He's a brilliant mind. He's a brilliant man. In fact, I don't think there's anybody in crypto that's smarter than he is, period. But that's why I don't talk about the technical side of coin storage. It's not my wheelhouse. Okay. I'm not that guy. He went into business and he went down the road. And when he decided to go the route he went, okay, he believed in business people. He's not a businessman. He's a technical mind. It's sort of like I talk about. I live with an attorney, as you guys all know. Attorneys are terrible business people. They're great lawyers, but they're not good at business. Engineers aren't good at business. They never have been. And that's why when I first started this channel, people ask me all the time, they're like, well, dude, well, what do you know about the technology of it all? I said, well, I really don't know that much about the X's and O's that go on behind the damn screen of a computer. I really don't. That doesn't mean that I don't have vision or don't understand business profile and networking and how networks grow and how you can profit from them in the future, because I have vision and concept of these because I've seen them come throughout my 60 years of life. I know where opportunity is. He tried to create something really brilliant and his business failed, or is in the process of failing. It's sad. Yes, that's right. Polysign is what I'm talking about. It's not, I'm not going to say it's his fault, and I'm not going to say it's not his fault. What I am going to say is the man is brilliant at a lot of things. And that's not working out for him this week. Hopefully they can figure it all out. But man, from what I understand, there's a lot of people that are going to lose a lot of money. And the whole reason to create said Polysign was so that people wouldn't lose a dime. And that's really scary. Really scary. So anyway.
Dang.
You know, there's a great question here. And I want to promote Simon. What Masili? Is that what Messi? How do you pronounce that?
Let's just go with Leo. Let's just go Leo, Dad.
I'm going Leo.
Yeah.
When will you do a chart about 75 cents then moon? Our buddy, okay, Simon, and his channel is called Simon Says Crypto.
Mm-hmm.
You guys, we should put that in the link down there. Simon Says Crypto did a video about my 75 cent video. that I think you guys should all watch. He did a great job on it. And he actually had a chart up when he was saying, well, here's where Alan's talking about, and here's what he was thinking about, and here's why he thinks it's going to go to $15. And he went through my whole video and did a video about my video. So it's a really well done. He does great work, and the man knows charts, and he's a good friend of the family here. So look that video up. It's called, here he is in the chat. Simon Says Video. There, you can probably find his link right there.
Nice.
I didn't see the whole video. I just saw that he did one. I started watching it and I fell asleep, I think. I don't know what happened. Not because it wasn't entertaining, because I was nap time or whatever.
One of my favorite videos of all time was a response video from Simon about a video that I did. Meant a lot, man. Meant a lot to me. Still does. Still does. I still, once in a while, I listen to that one still.
Yeah.
You need those in life.
And we have some surprises coming forward with Simon too, by the way, guys. I'm not going to talk about it right now, I don't believe. But he's working on some really fun stuff that I think is going to make all of us some money and some steady income for everybody in this group and more. And I think it's going to be a profitable opportunity for everybody. So going forward.
We're sciencing it at the moment.
Yeah. We are beta testing something that he's working on for a long time.
Omar, you can find us on patreon.com or you can go to the staplecrew.info to find us for Patreon. Dan and I are really, we're gearing up to do more videos in there. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to have those chats with you, Dan.
Yeah, they're going to be good. We have also, I just got a domain too, which is alanstaple.com. We'll bring you there now too. And Alan is ALLAN.
Nice.
Yeah. Kaleidoscope Eyes. There you go.
Love is love, man.
Show me the money. Yeah, well, that's good.
All right, Simon, let's party, hoes.
Yeah, you guys should subscribe to his channel too. I think he and I have done a show. Brent and I did a show with him, and he's going to be on the show coming forward for sure. Mm-hmm. Anyway, he's been in crypto, gosh, I think as long as I have, and he's a pretty sharp guy. Yep, good fun.
Yeah, he's a good one.
Brent, you had another subject you were going to go on about. What was that? You wanted to talk about. You already covered the wallet.
Yeah, and kind of the philosophy, about staking and about purchasing, and I'm still learning. My first real run was the last one, and what was exciting about that is I was really into it, and I was really, I was doing night school and I was working on boats to learn about it. And then my dad was super into it, and he's my favorite person to talk to. So we're back and forthing. Then we want to do the YouTube channel. Then we go out to Texas to a seminar with just amazing people such as Simon, who are there to continue to expand on all of that. And, things like this get born. And so going back to wallets and all that, it's the part that Dad and I don't love to talk about, like he said, which is why it almost never gets brought up, and why I love that Becky responded to that, she asked that of us to look into. If there's anything like that you all want us to look into specifically, I'm going to do that for us on these Sundays. But also understanding coming into a potential next bull run what you want to do and your plan and having a plan.
Yeah.
Please, everybody, right now, I'm just as I'm gonna do this and write it down specifically. Have a plan. Have have a stop loss. Have numbers. Okay, this is how much I'm gonna buy. This is how much I'm gonna sell. This is when I'm gonna do it when it hits this number. And at least have that. At least have that, please. Because I didn't really do that last run, and it cost me. It cost
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
and I know it costs a lot of other people that we know. And so let's do
Yeah, it
that
did.
this time. Let's do that this time. And what's so exciting, Dad, and we can talk about this together and with everybody more, but you know, to share, like I share that plan with people on Patreon all the time. Um, to the point it's like it's like I don't want you to do it my way because our lives are completely different and the amount of money
Yeah.
that we make is different and our needs are different. But for us to kind of conservatively share here and there, and just because we aren't telling you guys when we think it's going to happen or what the whole plan is and all that, you can also decipher and see through what we discuss how we're both feeling about it. My
Yeah.
thoughts and feelings about it mirror my dad's, because I think he does have vision, and it's why I support him, running with our channel, and I think he's done a fantastic job. And so looking
Yeah.
looking through all those little things, you can kind of see how we feel about it, and we want you to make your own mind up and
Yeah.
make your own
Yeah.
plan. The plan is what I was also thinking about, Dad.
Yeah.
Everybody's, including me, including you. Let's figure it out.
Well, as we all know, they're going to they never stopped turning the printing machine on. Let's put it that way. But if you do look at the M2 money supply, it has dipped. So they have restricted, contracted, whatever you want to call it, the amount of dollars that were out there. There are some big questions coming up on this bond market, the way it's affecting banks going forward. That's a really, really big deal. Really big deal. Hey, there's Solar Sam's in the house. Right on, brother. I need to call him tomorrow. And what that's going to do is it's going to affect lending going forward, guys. Yes, there's going to be a bunch of liquidity come to the market, but lending standards are going to contract. They're going to become more and more difficult. That free floating, everybody gets money and everybody gets a loan for whatever you want is contracting. And what they're going to do, the reason why they're going to do that is because some are going to say to keep the poor poorer, but it's kind of real. But on the other hand, what they're really trying to do is they're trying to get it to the point to where UBI is coming along. Oh, we need to just interject the money straight from the Federal Reserve, straight to the back pocket of every citizen in the US. And that's a big difference between what we had in 2008 and what we had in 2020. 2020 was injecting liquidity, money directly into everybody's pocket. Well, they know how to make the economy turn around lightning fast. So when people tell me today, oh no, we're going to have this terrible recession and depression is coming and the whole thing's collapsing. Well, maybe. I don't think so. And the reason why I don't think so is for that reason. They can send money directly to your wallet. And what are you going to do with it? You're going to stuff it in your mattress? No, you've never shown the ability to do that. America. I'm sorry. You're going to go out and buy the next thing that looks shiny. And that's what we do, right?
Mhm.
So there's no way we're going to pull that off unless we have really, really, really tough times for a couple of years before they do it. Then everyone's going to go, I'm going to buy silver coins and gold and crypto. Maybe, but I don't see that happening. People are going to run out and buy something they can't afford, which is what we're really good at. Okay. So, but when Jay Powell came out and said, hey, we have at least 3 price cuts coming, okay, with interest rates next year, what he's trying to tell everybody, okay, and by the way, he didn't rule out raising interest rates either. What he's really trying to tell everybody is hang in there, guys, hang in there, because the damn money printer's coming back on, period. It's just, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But the job cuts, I don't know if you guys heard this, but Citibank just cut 20,000 jobs yesterday. 20,000 jobs in one bank. Personally, I don't know why they needed 20,000 employees, because if they just go to damn crypto, they wouldn't need 20 employees. But that's a whole nother show. Yeah. But yeah, that goes back to my rant of those people cost us $7 trillion annually that does not trickle down to the people in the use of money. That's the benefit of crypto banking.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So the participation of our federal government banking is going to increase. And our participation of our, shall we say, Miss Janet Yellen's side of the economy is going to decrease. So it's going to become more of a Federal Reserve ran nation. All other countries are doing the same. This is a nationalization of countries and less of a global banking system. And I know most people are thinking, oh, well, Alan, the Federal Reserve is just a globalist corporation. Yes, they are. But they're the globalist corporate central banking system of all the countries. And what they're realizing is they're all going their own way. And the only way that they could stop the mess that they had created or slow it down was to draw it back in and bring it to the US and keep it here. And it's a long story about saying they're going to print a ton of money, and they're going to have to print a ton of money, and they're going to have to do it within 18 months. I'd say 6 months. They're going to have to start cutting it loose, but which falls into what? The happening, the election,
what else?
Job cuts. So corporations will need to start hiring again next spring. All of these things are big benefits to the system, and it's going to be assets will go up.
Market.
Only assets will go up, guys. That's it. That's the only thing that's going to go up this next time around. All these hollowed out, terrible fake companies are crashing and burning right now. There's been more bankruptcies on a corporate level this year than any in history. All of those zombie corporations are dying because they're not being supported by a zero interest rate. Free money, in other words, to keep the doors open. So it's contracting. But contraction means when you spend more money, there's less people to spend it on, so it goes up faster. It's the opposite of why. That's why Bitcoin's going to go up so fast, because there's fewer of them on the market than there ever was before. It's going to be crazy. Yes. And Alchemist, yeah. The housing crash, housing is always a year to two behind the interest rates. Always. Yeah.
That's a really good point, guys.
Yeah. Housing is going to level off and go down a bit, I think, still, but what's going to happen is people aren't going to be able to make their payments. So there's going to be more and more product on the market. And that's not an accident, number one. And number two, they're actually going to print a ton of money for these massive corporations who like to buy blocks of property, and they're going to do more and more of that. Yep. Yeah. So yeah, hopefully we double or triple Simon's viewer count over that today. That'd be great. we should do it on the show. Well, that's what we should do.
We really love his energy. Yeah, there's something about talking to Simon, and it's fun to really know him, but he's just so real, and he brings it, and that is always worth watching. Yeah, especially with crypto. And he knows a lot about it. Like, he's one of those people that we all three of us did a show together, and
that was a good show.
And then we ended up talking for another 2 hours after the show. And it was one of the most mind-blowing conversations I've had about crypto ever. I mean, it was really, we were essentially talking about the creation of like the ETF bonds before, they really started talking about it. Like when it was just brand new. And we were all just clawing and sharing and trying to give each other what we could. And it's so fun. So please check out Simon Says Crypto, everybody. Support our friend. Support our friend in the chat. GM for life. You're on a roll, brother. The tide's going to make everything rise. I absolutely agree.
Oh, yeah.
It will. It will also expose, I think, like you're saying, Dad, the kind of hollow companies, these companies that don't really have the business prowess to really stay involved or innovate.
They're not profitable.
Yeah. I have a question for you, Dad. Something that, like, it's been brought up, like that Uphold Canada took these coins off of the exchange. That was the first I had heard of it.
No, I heard that last week. Yeah.
And I know some of those aren't ICO, but do you see that in the coming potential bull, and in the coming future, going to be an issue for companies like XLM, and do you think that they're going to be put through the same kind of gauntlet that XRP has been put through? Or do you think once the bonds come out, once, they're selling these crypto products, once the banks get involved, they'll kind of blow past that, and that was just kind of a thing to slow it down in the past. What's your feeling on that, Dad?
Well, I think to some degree you just answered your own question. Yeah, I think that's accurate. We don't conceptually, it's really hard for all of us, and this is a big picture, so stay with me on this. You and I think logically, and you and I think rationally, and you and I think the betterment of the whole of all mankind. Well, the tools that are in charge right now, sorry, did I use tool? Anyway, the people running the system right now appear to me to be in save my own tail mode. And they're really looking somewhat ridiculous in the sense that they're coming after such things that they can't control, such as crypto or Bitcoin. They can't. And yet they're doing desperate things as leaders and telling you, oh, you can't use this, and the trucker strike. And we expose the fact that all of these people are criminals because they traded outside of our the CAD, the Canadian dollar. Like, oh, those people are all criminals and we should lock them all up. Well, that really reminds me of the early 1940s. if you understand where I'm talking about here. When you start having people telling you that the public should be locked up for freedom, for doing something free, like, who are you? Like, that'll work for the people, for the masses for a long time. And a lot of people went thinking they were going into a shower, if you know what I'm saying there, right? Like, a lot of people will be lemmings walking into it, but there's so many people now. Like we talk about on the show all the time, I'm so impressed with people your age and younger, Brent, who really get money now. It's something that happened in 2020 on. People get it now. It's like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. If I'm only dealing with the Canadian dollar and it's only accepted in Canada, I'm stuck here, man. Like, wait a minute. Whoa, how the hell am I going to get all my net worth and wealth and go to Costa Rica and live? Well, they're trying to cut the
Crypto.
off ramps off, not just with crypto, with all of it.
Mhm.
And the exposure of all of that and the wisdom that's being shared on channels like this and many better channels that are teaching people the reality of sound money is really going to go a long way. So
Yeah.
when they try and shut XLM off or XRP off, they're really like, okay, all right, well, uh, newsflash. Next, they're going to say air isn't clear, right? I mean, come on, like, good luck,
Yeah.
because your tyranny creates suspicion. And like I always like to say, the answer to tyranny is cryptos. It's the kryptonite in the system, and it it'll be the end of them. If they adopted it and slowly corrupted it over time, I would say, okay, well, maybe you guys stand a chance against it. But since you're just like trying to only outlaw it like in the US and Canada, like isn't it really strange that like we
Mm,
have this whatever you want to call them,
mm.
this Western alliance, I'll call them. But in the Western alliance, Japan has fully adopted crypto. Okay. They're part of our West. Germany's into it, right? Europe's all about it. Europe's already got statutes written in the whole European Union of how to handle it, where to use it, what's acceptable, what's not. And then you have the BIS coming out and telling us that it's a tier one and that you're supposed to own certain percentages of it in your portfolio. Yet the US is and Canada is sitting back going, no, we oppose such a thing. But yet when you profit from it, they tax you on it. You know, when you net
Yeah.
gain, when you tax somebody on something that you're telling them is bad and evil and only corrupt people use it, and we're trying to write laws against it, but yet I have to pay capital gains when I profit off your coins. Who the hell are you? Who are you people? Whose side are you on? You're talking out of like both sides of your mouth, and you're not making any damn sense to the general public. And none of
Zero
us,
sense.
we're not going along with it any longer. We're just not
Nope.
going there anymore. And we have a
Nope.
way out. It's real simple. Yeah.
And and I know, Dad, you're like me. We kind of like our tyranny and oppression and all our BS right there out in the open, where we can get a real good whiff of it, like
That's what,
Elizabeth Warren's crypto bill, for instance. For an
yeah.
example.
Yeah.
Just
I love the reference. Yeah.
yeah, I agree with you
Uh,
100% there, Dad. It's
yeah.
we're not that it doesn't to the very beginning of your point. It's not logical.
No,
And
it's
and
not.
that's where, it begs all of us to look inside and try to look at the opposite of our own hypocrisies and the programming that we've been, that's been installed in us in this comfortable system that we've just kind of subconsciously believed in.
Yeah.
Um, it's when you start getting into the self-sovereignties and the get rid of the third party, and I don't want, to be taxed this way or that way, or my information sold back to me, or to be spied upon. It's a very exciting place. It's like dad and I are smiling right now talking about it, because it's
Yeah.
it's a place that's not like, it's no longer kind of that scary place where I think 10 years ago we would have been talking more about, doomsday cat food bunker. But today it's like, no, we're on the surface. We, dad and I, view as everybody is the same. We're all in this together. And what's a better way of doing things? What's a more exciting way of doing things? And
Yeah.
the kind of freedom that my dad's talking about is what excites me personally. I don't even like to, I looked into the crypto bill and I just laughed. I just laughed.
Yeah.
I used to, a year ago, I would have been like, "Oh no, this is going to be so
Yeah.
terrible for
Yeah.
crypto, man. We're in big
Yeah. But
trouble,
now it's
dude."
laughable. Yeah.
Not anymore.
No,
Not
she
scared.
just,
I'm not scared anymore. I'm
no.
just not scared. They're just clearly trying to play catch up, and
Yeah.
yeah, they got their hands on some controls and some buttons and power and money and all this,
Yeah.
but it really, I really think the world would be a better place if it was ground up. And I think people will prove that. We will
Yeah.
prove that, thanks to your generation teaching my generation about money for a start.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think there's places like that where we can all start and
It's,
share those
it's
things.
just, it's just virtually impossible if you're a teenager coming out of university or high school or whatever your plan was, and to come out and expect that you can buy a home anymore. Um, and this inflationary mess, I don't think it was necessarily done in nefariously. I think it's just one of those things that they couldn't quit spending money, and well, we can just go back to the bank again. We'll pay it later. We'll pay it later. We'll get around to paying it one day, and they just can't do it that well. It's just not going to work any longer, and people have come to the conclusion that inflation is the problem. And yet they've tried to tell us our whole lives that 2% is a good thing. That's what we're shooting for. And I talk about it often. 2% is the skim they get off the top. That's the big, right? That's what they thrive on. And 2% is like, I don't care what you're living in. You don't want 2% of the rain coming through your roof, right? If you're in a boat, you don't want a 2% leak in the bottom of the boat.
Yeah.
And the 2% leak, okay, is perpetual. It just keeps happening and happening and happening. And like we all know it's more than 2%, but it's good that we have 2% inflation. What are you people talking about? Right?
Yeah.
Like I talk about it. The 1850s were the most glorious time on this continent by far. And they were deflationary times. And it was the best of times. And we could have it again if we had sound money and good representation. And instead of them having to learn something and create a better world through government, they've decided that they're going to run the way we've always done it for the last 1,000 years. And good luck to them. I just think they're in a lot of trouble this time. I really do. And I think we finally have products. Like I say, the top 50 coins I think are going to change the world. I really do. And in particular, since this is what we talk about all the time, XRP is going to change banking and the transactional fees of the world. And when you understand what that means and who all is adopting it, it doesn't matter what she says. It doesn't matter, because even if they take the profit that should be handed down to the end line user, they're going to use it. They're still going to use it, right? Yeah.
Yep.
What's going on in the chat?
Hoofty had a interesting. I often wonder what causes inflation, and I always come back to that thought. Yeah, me too. That was deep, man. It's true. It's true. It
Yeah.
we can sit here and talk about what causes inflation, right? But then you kind of get into that world and that thought of wow, what's really causing it? What's the trigger point? What's the you know who's at those controls?
Yeah.
Who should we really be watching? And
Yeah. The What really causes inflation is the influx of whatever you're using as a currency for goods at hand. The more money for the same amount of goods, the higher the thing's going to go in price value, in price number, not in value. Yeah. It's the average person. If I were to interview the person walking up down the street, they have no clue what inflation is. They can't even tell me how it happens. But then again, they can't even tell me what a dollar is. Like they have no concept of what money is, and yet they spend their whole life trying to earn it. It's absurd. We are illiterate, you know, and
yep,
and they like it like that, you know. So
yeah,
they get to all you got to do is look into that family, the Rothschilds. Actually, their name is Bauer, but you need to look into those people and figure out what they did and how they controlled banking and how they controlled armies. I got one for you. In the late 1700s, early to late 1700s, the R letter families had armies that were larger than any army, any nation army. Check that out one day. So if you think corporations are corrupt today, they actually used to have armies in the day. Think about how corrupt that would be. Think about Apple. I guess to some degree, I guess they do, but they control the Pentagon in some ways. Oh, better be careful about saying too much of that.
cool.
But to some degree, like, can you imagine that the Rothschilds had an army that big? Like, oh,
Oh boy.
yeah.
Well, it's a good
Think
thing
about
I've been digging
corruption.
out this here bunker. I've been working on this a couple years now.
Yep.
Getting pretty
Yep.
deep. Better start laying down a mortar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get that Alpo in there.
No, we're not going there.
No, no,
No.
no, no, no.
Got to be careful. I
That's right, XRP Army. Yeah, we love you. Sorry, we talk about Bitcoin too. But
Yeah,
we
we do.
believe that market wise, what affects one will affect the other.
Yeah.
And Dad brought up some really great points today about how different they really are, and how
Yeah.
different they will separate out and become. And when people really understand what both of them actually are, which it's still
Yeah.
what only 4 to 5% of people use crypto. So that's a very small amount. Of 9 out of 10 people you meet don't know how to use it or don't know what it is. And so
Yeah.
that's going to be interesting to help teach and share, and for us to all understand it. Like Dad was just saying about inflation, and talking about money, and us sharing that with the generations to come. It's important to know the basics of what this is, And I think once you do, it's why we're all here right now on a Sunday instead of watching the football game. It's really exciting.
Yeah. And it, like
And I'm tired of paying third
what
parties and inflation. I'm tired of it.
what okay,
Tired.
like the video I did 2 videos ago when I was talking about be an owner and know what you own, when I was talking about XRP, um, you own the network. You don't need to own the value on the network. You own the network. So
Mhm.
transactionally, you're going to get paid because the value of the network's going to go up, right? So that's the beauty of where you're at. So like what you were just talking about, Brent, people aren't going to know they're using XRP.
Right.
They're not going to know. It's going to be like what do you call it? HTTPS, right?
Mhm.
Um, they're not going to know what they're using. They're going to be using XRP, and you're going to be the guy, on the Bahamas with an umbrella and getting paid every second of every day because they're using you and they're using what you own. And that's huge because I don't know how many more times in man's future going forward in your lifetimes, I don't care how young you are, you're going to have an opportunity like that. I just don't. I mean, in
Yeah.
my lifetime, there's been 3 or 4 opportunities to be, HTTML or whatever, you just you don't
What
know.
yeah, what is the value of that? What that is astronomical. It's astronomical, and I was talking to my dad about this very thing, and he kinda reminded me that, when we're talking about a whole operating system, um, and we're talking about price and, I was like, I'm not really a price guy, but I was kinda asking him, I'm like, "Well, what could it really potentially where could we go?" And I thought your point was really interesting, Dad. It was, you know, why why would they let it stay a dollar? Why would they let it just be cheap to where everybody could just scoop it all up? And when is that point gonna come where it's like, no, we can't just let the commoners scoop all this up. This is as big
Yeah.
as Apple. This is as big as Microsoft. This is as big as HTTPS. This
Yeah.
is about transferring back and forth the wealth of the world across borders.
Yeah.
That is big time.
Yeah, it
That's
is. It's huge. It
that's
is.
about as big time as it gets. So
Yeah.
I
Right.
uh, I enjoy those chats with you, Dad, because it. I'm digging your videos, by the way. I'm
Yeah.
digging
No,
them.
by
I really
XRP
am.
Golden Age, XRP Golden Age brought up something that's really important. I talk about it a lot.
Mhm.
In my lifetime, I've never seen the elites, if you will, or whatever you'd like to call them. They're not all one group conspiring against you. There's multiple groups and multiple different families, but they are not winning. And that was the other thing I heard that in that interview. They were just giving the elite so much control over their lives mentally and spiritually as to what their future is going to be because we have no control over what the elites do to us. We're just dead in the water and we're their puppet. And no matter what, anything
Mhm.
they say, we have to do. It's like, please, please end that thought process. The sooner, the better, because we don't need them. They need us. You understand that? That's the most important thing I want you guys to get from this channel.
Yes.
I work for them. They need us, right?
Mhm.
We are the economy. I've said this before. If all of us just stayed in our homes, never left the house, nobody bought anything online, nobody made any phone calls, In 3 days, the system would collapse. It would absolutely collapse from the top down. And yet we think it's the other way around. We think the system controls us. You are the economy. And they know that, but the politicians have forgotten it. The politicians really don't understand people, and they don't understand economics at all. None of them. I've met some personally, and you look at me, you're like, you don't know anything about anything other than how to get elected. And that's what they know. And they never have to follow through with anything they say on TV. They can say one thing 1 month, and 2 months later, you can't even call them out anymore. Well, wait a minute, you just said that last week. No, you can't ask them that. So all of that becomes it's the end for them. Do I think it's happening tomorrow? No, clearly not. But that is their end. That is the end for them. Yeah. And we got Sean in the chat again saying Bitcoin's the problem, or what? Is that what's going on? Come on, dude. I know. Here's the thing. Like everybody I know, okay, everybody I know who doesn't own Bitcoin thinks Bitcoin is a big conspiracy. And they think it's just going to fall on its face and collapse one day. I look, and I've heard a million different stories. And every single one of them, okay, show me the proof. But it's just YouTube channels out there giving you speculation as to what might happen to that coin one day. But yet, all of those channels they haven't gone down the road. They haven't looked into the code. They haven't even looked at it. They simply don't like it because they didn't profit from it from day one. And then it's like they get tired of it getting all the credit or whatever. And then they say it's a government coin, which is comical because like government's done everything except like abolish it, right? Like when they write these laws, they use the word Bitcoin to oppose it. They don't use the other coins, right? Anyway, yeah, it's funny. I understand it. There's a lot of people that hate a lot of coins out there. But
that's Sean says that's not what he's talking about, Dad. And I was just laughing, Sean, because I love you, because of what you said.
Yeah.
I love you, man.
Yeah. And this is the good one too.
Dad, Sean might be the person that does find you the proof about Bitcoin. Like he just might get to the bottom. Might get to the bottom on that.
So I mean, it's like that's the one I see all the time. I don't know whether he's being sarcastic or what, but it's like Bitcoin is the banker's coin. It's like, dude, really? I know you're being sarcastic, right? Like, what coin is used by every banking system in the world? XRP. What coin? Yeah.
What Cody? Did you read Cody's comment? If the power went out during a civil war, they would get the power back on just so the news could cover it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It's like
turn the TV on, honey.
Who has representation every year at Davos? Cardano? No. Which coin has representation with the WEF? I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of people hate XRP for those reasons, because it's always been termed the banker's coin. Yeah. Yeah. But last time I checked, who is the famous bank robber?
John Dillinger.
One of them said, "Well, why do you rob banks?" And he said, "Because that's where the money is." It's like, well, Yeah, you want a coin that's the banker coin, right? Because that's where the damn money is. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah, it's fun.
they're gonna continue to do that. I agree
Yep,
with you, Dad, that the reason the system exists at all really is about
yeah,
us. It's about everybody and being able to trade and do all these things. Now,
yeah,
unfortunately, there's third parties that want to control you and scam you and take
yeah,
advantage and get
that's right.
greedy and all that. It's too bad.
Yeah,
But it's really just sad to me now and laughable that those particular parties wouldn't want to implement a better system or wouldn't learn about it enough to want to
right.
share it and create it immediately. I mean, the
Yeah,
fact that XRP and Bitcoin does get all the crap thrown at it, it's just it's laughable.
yeah.
It's so laughable now because it's
Plus,
like we all of us see the writing on the wall for both of them.
it,
We
yeah.
it
Has
feels
anyone
like a
noticed
renewal.
that? Some of you have been around long enough to remember this, but I remember the day when Google said, it wasn't just Google, it was Facebook and all of them, like in one day's time, all came out and said, no more cryptocurrency commercials,
Mhm,
right? On the
mhm.
internet. I don't know if you guys have seen this. Just think back. How many crypto commercials have you seen on the internet? None, right? They banned them like 5 years ago. I don't remember when it was, like 17, I wanna say 2017. And I don't know if you've noticed, but they've already budgeted for starting January 1st to open up Google Ads, okay, for crypto. I don't know if you guys caught any of that. That was kind of breaking news last week. But the funny part about all that is that just tells you they were trying to keep it under wraps until they could get their foot in the door. Now their foot in the door is going to be the ETFs. Now that they got the ETFs, they're gonna slowly go down the damn line. They're gonna have one ETF is gonna be Bitcoin, the next Ethereum. I'm gonna say the third one's gonna be XRP, but that's me. Yeah. Uh, but when you see those things, and I tell the story all the time, but this is a really good one. I'll make it short. I was driving in my car and I heard one day on the radio that they banned the use of purchasing crypto with your credit card. All the credit card companies came out and one day just said, you can't buy crypto with credit cards. And, we laugh about it all the time, but
Mhm.
you can charge 10 grand on your credit card or whatever your max is. You go to Vegas and you could have put it all on black or grab a hooker or whatever your thing is, right? But
Yeah.
you can't buy crypto. Like all of that is obvious. Oh, they're afraid of it. They're scared to death of it because they never
Mhm.
tell you what you can spend your damn, money on.
No.
And and I this is classic. I was just reading a report. There's what's his name? He's the chief financial officer for Mastercard.
Mm.
Craig something. They were doing an interview with him, and I was checking out the interview, and they said, "Well, are you afraid of the transaction times of crypto and it's going to be 10 times faster and XRP and all this?" And he laughed and he goes, "Credit card settlements take anywhere between 30 to 90 days to settle." I've been telling everybody that for years now, and they're like, "Oh no, speed matters. Like has to be transactional right this second," and I'm just laughing, going, "You should read the article," because he said it's about average of somewhere around 45 days. That's your average.
Wow.
So when you buy something with a credit card, it doesn't settle for 45 damn days. That's pretty slow, guys.
No
We
wonder
don't.
businesses still accept cash.
Yep. Right.
That's
Yeah.
slow, man.
Yeah. So everyone's like, "Oh, transactional speeds are everything." In the crypto world, it is, but in the banking world, mm, let's remember they still have, I don't know, Citibank laid off 20,000 people and it was only 10% of their staff. So what do they have? 200,000 employees? 100,000 employees, whatever it was. Unbelievable. No, that'd be 200,000.
Holy smokes,
Yeah.
Dad. Leah just said, in Sweden, they ban our Visa and MasterCards for 3 years, so we can't buy crypto.
Yep.
I messaged somebody back. I think it was Willie. But I got blocked by my bank this week, and so did he, from purchasing on a yeah. And I had done all the KYC and all that stuff, and
Yeah.
still got blocked. And it actually ended up becoming a pain in my ass. And I'd like to thank my bank for that. Really appreciate it. Trying to get some business done.
Here's a good question. Gary won't allow ETF, ETH BC. He must say it's not a security or it is. Yeah, that's a really good question. First of all, I want to clear up what a security is in Wall Street, right? A security in Wall Street has a staff or a board that changes the outcome of said company or security. They control it. They tell it what it's going to spend on advertising. They tell it what it's going to do, how it's going to change the world, what it's going to do with the world, how it's going to be manipulated going forward by human beings. When you have a crypto coin on a blockchain, it is not navigated by human beings. Therefore, it is not a security, period. That's since time and forever. Every stockbroker in the world will tell you that's exactly the definition of a stock, of a current, or of a stock. Okay. And yet they started splitting hairs when cryptos came along because they wanted to make it a security. It's absolutely not a security. No crypto is a security. And I can't even believe the argument. That's why they can't put it on paper. That's why they can't come to you with the rules of what the rules are. That's why they can't do any of that. And even the Howie is a ridiculous, written in the 20s, has nothing to do with current day cryptocurrency tokens or coins. It doesn't make any damn sense. And they know it. And it's apples to oranges. And for me, yeah. Yeah. Right. Well, that's because when I was a kid, I wanted to be a stockbroker. That was my whole dream and one of my biggest dreams in life. I really that's what I wanted to do my whole life. Thank God that's not what I did with it. Thank God the 87 crash cured me very quickly. Cody, that's funny you should ask that. The lady who works with us on our channel to help support our channel, she just told me yesterday that I'm supposed to watch that channel, Waters Above.
Waters Above.
Yeah.
Trudeau has committed treason. Sounds about
Alan,
right.
Alan for Congress. No.
No.
No. Yeah. That's no, thank you. I'd rather try and herd chickens all day. Trust me, that the no. Yeah. Water Above. Okay, I'm gonna have to check it out. I keep hearing about it.
Mm,
Sounds cool. Something about
nice.
numerology, isn't it, guys? Something about that. Um, anyway, I'm into any of it. I like woo woo of all
He
kinds.
uses numerology, astrology, gematria. I don't even know what that means. Dad
Gematria.
and I have followed a few people who use astrology and different things to make crypto predictions. Fascinating stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Um,
fun stuff.
yeah, it's fun.
It's entertaining.
It's just another avenue to look down and feel the energy. It's fun.
Yeah. I'm we talk about him also on this channel is we're big fans of Case Parks,
Mhm.
Everyday Masters. I like his channel a lot. There's a bunch of channels out there that are really good. I just don't like the ones that are news hounds, if you will. They tell me, yeah, they tell me what the mainstream media puts out, and then they argue with mainstream media all day. It just drives me batty. It's like I don't know why you just don't put your thumb in a vice. I just don't, you're not getting anywhere. You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
You're listening to propaganda and try and solve the world's problems through propaganda. Like, how is that ever going to work out for anybody? Yeah.
Brittany
Yeah.
said he's super woo woo in a grounded way. I'm in.
Nice.
I'm
I'm
watching
in
it.
for sure. We got a buddy of ours, Simon turned us on to this guy, Ben. What's Ben's name? Ben called me last night, Brent. Wow, what a magical phone call that was. Anyway,
But
yeah, he does a woo-woo night on Thursdays. He was saying he was trying to get us back into that one.
oh, cool.
I'm just trying to record 2 or 3 shows a week, and that's been difficult lately. So,
Dad,
yeah.
gematria, gematria is a Hebrew cryptography using letters and corresponding numbers. Thanks,
Numbers
Hoopty.
to letters.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I've seen Ben Cohen's show. Yeah. Yeah, that's been a while. Yeah. That's good stuff. Yeah. But when how do I put this? When I go down the woo-woo road, I no longer think of woo-woo as being a conspiracy theory. That's not what I call woo-woo. I know a lot of people do, and I know that's what most people think of woo-woo being.
Mhm.
I don't. I think woo-woo being more your consciousness and your spiritual oneself, and what you mean to the whole through. I was just listening to an interview with a very technically minded guy that maybe some of you have heard of by the name of Elon, and just some guy, random guy. I don't. Maybe you guys have heard of him, but he was doing an interview recently, and I heard him ask this question, and I thought it was so relevant. They asked him, "So, why? What do you think is going to happen with AI, and why do you think going forward that it's a plus for mankind? And do we really need it?" And essentially, he said, "No, I don't believe we really need it." And I thought that was really a cool answer from a guy that's so technically minded. But it led me to believe that, or think of this one thought, which is really huge. That's putting a lot of glare on the camera here. That's all right. Which was, if man can get past the technical side of man, and if we can understand how important we all are, and how we change things in our lives, in our world, and what's all around us, that's the technical advancement that man needs to really focus upon. That's the new, like, beyond AI. Like that's beyond technical analysis. That's beyond anything that digits and ones and zeros and computing power is going to do. Times 10. Times 10. That's the woo I'm talking about. That right there.
Same.
Yep.
The connection and understanding to whatever energy and intelligence exists between any two particles or cells or space in the known universe, and our connection, bridge, ability to access it all. That's a lot of what Dad and I get into, and we're talking about on Patreon. And it's really fun. We've gone down so many different roads of how to try to access it. And what's so cool is I'm hearing more and more roads to do that. By the week, like I hear something new, or somebody with a different talent or gift or something, like what you all are talking about right now. Having us look into somebody else that's pumped about this stuff. This is what I want to talk about all day long. Bernie!
This
Time
is
to go, peeps.
this is what's hassling me
Time to
behind the
Is
camera.
Time to go.
it winter or what?
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
It's a certain
Nice.
time on the farm.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter rain or shine, blizzard. It's always that time.
It's Brittany saying hi, Elizabeth. It's throw the ball for the dogs time is what time of day it is right now.
Tiempo por la pelota.
Yeah, right.
Por
Yeah.
favor.
Simon Elizabeth says it's not Tuesday. Yeah.
No, but it's 4 o'clock. It's 3:30, 4 o'clock, and she stares at the fridge.
Yes.
She runs this place.
Yeah. Our sweet little dog needs to be exercised with a ball. But yeah, that's sort of an inside joke. The Tuesdays. I'm really busy on Tuesdays, guys. So yeah. And I work not every Tuesday, but almost every Tuesday. Today I was really busy walking into the show. I barely got here. So I didn't even shave. So we got that going for us.
Nice.
Wow. Yeah, I hear the East Coast got cold snap. So everybody's like, we're supposed to finally get basically our first storm of the year tomorrow, I guess. It's going to rain for once. And I've got Bruno here in my lap.
Brutus.
You know who Bruno is. What? I know, big boy. I know. I've ignored him for too long, evidently.
Mm-hmm.
My good boy.
Okay, buddy.
I know he's my good boy. Damn. Okay, we got to wrap this thing up, Brent. It's been almost 2 hours.
Yeah. Let's all go proceed with our lives now.
Yeah, right.
So great to be here with all of you.
Yeah, we got the Bruno man. He has the heart of 3 dogs. Yeah, he's very loving.
He is.
Yeah. He's always trying to make an appearance.
Lover boy.
Yeah. Okay, so on our Patreon channel this week, Brent, what are we covering in our view of woo-woo? What topics did we have coming up this week?
The law of attraction. So we're gonna
very nice
speak on the law of attraction. Dad and I have both read a lot of Esther and Jerry Hicks, who all of you probably know pretty well. And Esther channeled this essentially group of spirits, if you want to think of it that way, that's called Abraham. And the beginning of that book, I'm going back through at the moment. she's explaining how how she's able to get into that space to be able to channel, which I think is so fascinating. And we know people and have done videos with people and love people who are channelers. And it's such a neat ability. But with law of attraction, just to give you all a taste, when you get into your car in the morning and you've got some radio station that you'd like to listen to, say it's 6:30 a.m. and it's your sports channel. We'll just go with that because that's what I would turn on. So I turn on my radio, and when you turn on 6:30 a.m., you expect the sports channel to come on, right? You don't expect it to all of a sudden be, classic or hard rock and roll. When you turn it on specifically to that station, that is what you are expecting. That is what that it is. This is the channel that I've gone to for my sports for so long. What they're talking about and the message of kind of the law of attraction, and their claim is that it's the most powerful law in the universe for us, because if we essentially say that we are, or in present moment can, literally tune to 6:30 and know that it's going to be the sports station, that is what's going to come on. That
Right.
is going to show up. And that's one of many examples that they give. And that there's other people that teach law of attraction as well. And we've gotten into them, and we'll share about some of them and different people that you can check out. And I really love my dad's takes on it. He's the one that got me into that as well. So
Yeah.
I'm excited.
One more thing I dragged my son into.
Yeah. Let's see. Crypto, law of attraction, yachting, YouTube.
Yeah. Actually, I have a little Peaky Blind. Actually, she personally got the jab and was pretty much told not to take it, from what I recall of that whole thing. There was a lot of people that it was very controversial, but she was a child of the 50s and 60s where she saw her family was affected by polio. So she believed in vaccines and she took it personally, but I don't believe her channeling never told anybody ever to do that. So Esther Hicks. Yeah. So anyway,
and then there was a request too, Dad, to talk about aliens. I'm with you. That's kind of it's a little off woo for us. I can tell you this, folks. I'm starting to believe in them less and less because the government is starting to tell us more and more.
Yeah,
honestly,
yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Like I used to kind of be into it. Now I'm like, they're probably some kind of fear weapon they're trying to create against us. I don't know.
Yeah,
I like.
I don't. Yeah, I don't. We got to end the show. If I start going down UFOs and all that angle, we'll be here another hour. But
come check us out over there, everybody. We'll $3. $3.
Yeah, check us out over on Patreon, and we're gonna have fun over there. We always do, and we will see you there. All right, B-Man. All right, guys, we'll see you guys all next week. Yeah. Brittany, thanks for joining in, everybody. Simon, peace, brother.
Peace.
We are out.